What's up, everybody? This is the Healing Kings podcast, and this is your host, Drew Cost. And today we're going to talk about what are you going to get done in 2024. Right now it's December. We're wrapping up the year, or we're getting ready to gear up for the next year, or maybe you're just chilling. But this is for people who want more in 2024. You can use that as your church slogan that just came to my mind. But this episode is for people who want more in 2024. If you're like me, 2022 presented a lot of challenges, presented a lot of things that just made life not make sense. If you're like me, some things that made me question God, made me question who I am, made me question a lot of things. And I'm grateful for it. None of it felt good while I was going through it. None of it felt pleasant. None of it felt like it made sense. Some of it still does not make sense. But I realized that God doesn't make mistakes. I also realized that it's preparing me and it's preparing you, if you're listening to this, for greater things in 2024. Now, I'm going to just break down in this episode some ways you can make 2024 better, different. The first thing I'm going to say is trim the fat. This is an exercise I've been doing for years. I do it every December. I started doing it more throughout the year, and I actually want to adopt this mindset every month. And what trim the fat really means is taking into account for what you spend your time doing, what you spend your money doing, and what you spend your time on. You want to think about those things because time is something that we never can get back. You cannot get more time. This is why people hire out to get things done, or they find ways to do things quicker sometimes so that they can have more time to do other things. So you need to find out, what am I spending my time on? What am I spending my money on? And find out, what could I get rid of? What are some things I can get rid of? Even decluttering in your house and cleaning your car. What are some things I can get rid of? What are some things I can also delegate? Is there something, some task, some job that I can hand off to somebody to do the job? If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a parent, you start to realize that maybe the person who you hand this off to, they can't do the job 100% like you, and they're not supposed to. Maybe their job is literally just to do the job 80% as well as you would, so that you can go do bigger things or different things that are going to help you grow, business or just in life. So what can I get rid of? What can I delegate? And the last one for that portion is, what do I need to start putting more focus on? Is there something that I'm not focusing on that needs my attention? If I want to become better at podcasting, I got to put more work into podcasting. If I want to become better at being a better father, a better mother, I got to put more work on that. And that might require, which leads to step 2, is have a plan. Now, I'm going to tell you, right? I am not the best when it comes to emotional plans, but when it comes to like carving out stuff like how to get something done, I got you. So my plan this year is to get with people who are great at emotional planning, planning date nights, planning time to just rest, planning time to just cry. I'm not great at that yet, so I'm going to be seeking out help. And I have a mentor who I meet every week now to just talk about things like that. What do you need to plan ahead of time? When we think about planning, it never needs to be you have every single aspect mapped out and that's going to be the exact way that it's done. That usually does not happen. It usually happens where you may have a rough draft. You may find out 2-3 months down the line that things are going to change, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine to have to rewrite, go back to the drawing board, take some things out, add some things in, or just realize that, hey, maybe I projected this to be too slow. I'm ahead of the game. Or I projected it to be too fast. I'm way behind. Be okay adjusting when you make these plans. There's a Bible verse that talks about many are the plans in the man's heart, but the Lord has the final say so. I'm going to always say try to, as much as you can, and consult God, bring God on the scene, invite God in the invitations. The last thing I would say to do for 2024 to be better is let 2023 let it be. Let it lie. Let it be. When we usually go into new seasons and new dimensions and levels and years, we usually start off just moping about what didn't happen in the year before. That's not going to serve you at all. What's really going to probably happen is what's going to happen is you're going to end up spending too much time focusing on the past, right? When runners run, there's one direction that they're looking if they're going to win. They're looking forward. They're not looking to the sides of them. They are looking forward. I believe it's horses that have blinders on them so they can only look in the forward direction. Nothing is behind you that you need to keep focusing on once the year changes. And sorry for the people who don't set New Year resolutions. I'm not talking to you. I set them. I like them. I like fresh starts. I like New Year's, and it works for me. You want to think about how can I let 2023, how can I let it be? How can I leave it behind me so that I can actually focus on what's ahead of me? If that's relationships, if that's getting fired, if that's losing money, if that's losing friendships, I forgive all y'all. I forgive it. I'm moving on to something totally different. I'm not going to focus on that anymore. Now, with those tips, the major thing that could get missed if we're not careful is how do we start these things, Drew? How do we start moving forward? How do we start trimming the fat? How do we start having a strategy? The first thing to do, grab a notebook, write down what you don't want in 2024. That's a lot easier sometimes than saying what you do want. After that, what do I want? What do I want to experience? What are the things I want to welcome into my life in 2024? When I can start defining those and defining what it looks like, then the how to can start to come. And don't feel bad if the how to doesn't come as soon as you start writing. There's one time I was writing down how to afford something, and I wrote down and I could not figure out the how to, so I quit. Then one day I was like, I'm going to sit here and just write that I want it and what I would feel like when I get it and how I would act when I get it. And lo and behold, I think about a week, I was able to actually go for it and get that. And it wasn't even something I wrote down. I couldn't figure out how this happened, but it happened. You don't need to figure it all out to start. Just start. Just start. Here's my invitation to you. If you're watching this or you're reading this, right? This is December the 11th, 2024. If you listen to this before January 1st, 2024, I will grant you a 30-minute strategy session, complimentary of my team, where we go over what you want and ways to get it. 30 minutes. You got to be hearing this or seeing this before 2024. It'll be completely on me, on my team. We'll map out how you can actually get a lot of success in 2024. With that being said, the things that did happen in 2023 that hurt you, that felt set you back, that threw you off, realize that those are stepping stones for 2024. The blessings that did happen, the breakthroughs that did happen, count those all joy also. Success is not just succeeding. Failing is a part of the success journey. You cannot have one without another. It sounds like love and marriage. Love and marriage. Married with children. Love and marriage. He talks about. Okay, sorry guys. I digress. Count those as a blessing. Count the mistakes. Count the failings. Count the wins. Count it all joy. And prepare for 2024. Again, if you're getting this before 2024, just email me, drewcostfitness@gmail.com, or comment wherever you're seeing this, and you get a free 30-minute strategy session on my team and myself. That's usually about $150. Totally free. It's on me. I want to help you. I want to see you win. As always, guys, go be great.